Alright, welcome to our first episode of History Rewritten. I can't talk. So, this is going to be where Civilization starts, and, yeah. So, as you should know, Civilization and humanity itself, I suppose, Civilization started here. Humanity started off here, but instead we're going to having it occurring in the Kuwait area, around here. So, we have our first actual nation over here. I don't know what it's called. You couldn't make that up yourself. So this is our first nation, I suppose. There are other people around the world, located in the southern Arabian area. I suppose maybe like they went from Ethiopia into here. Maybe this one's going really north. So the red team is going to be progressing south to try and conquer some of those nations. They're not nations, they're more like tribes, but you know what I mean. They go down here very, very slowly. It's probably like a few hundred years, this journey. Maybe less, I don't know. But they have to conquer it and settle it and stuff like that. There's barely any people here. But finally they make it into the area, and our world is now inhabited by the United Arab Emirates. So they are very, very low at the moment. Not all of this is very settled. Most of the population's up here in Kuwait, but nonetheless they've got around here. Now, no more nations have really appeared, but they've got like small cities and towns, well, not really cities, towns with people inside of them. And the red team is going to start going into conflict with these. Lots of them are located more in the inner regions of Arabia, so that will lead them to go further down there. However, they will be still expanding along the coast as they make their way into Oman. They do, however, attack some of these cities and tribes, and that causes their nation to grow even further. Now, there is also another group out here who are a highly religious group and believe that the world was made by the sun, I suppose, because like the sun's the main part of their life, because they're living in a desert. And that they believe that's how humans were crafted. Now, all these people down in this area all also follow this religion, including the red team, because I suppose it's just the only religion there is. So that's cool. But they're like the second most powerful group of people in the world. Over more years, the red team spreads even further into this Arabian area, becoming quite a large nation. And defeating quite a few cities. I'm not sure they grow this big this quickly, but you know, oh well, they can't go back against it now. Oh god, yeah, I've got illness, I've got allergy. Anyway, so that's fun. And finally, they've actually kind of connected with this highly religious group. And yeah, they have a few talks, and they generally get along. The red team's kind of like, well, sorry, be out of my way. I would love to just grab up this entire area. So they're kind of like, well, we don't want to get dominated. So as long as you let us practice our belief and continue being these like theocratic people, we'll join your empire. Well, country. It's not really an empire. So the red team agree to this, and they're going to add this group of people to their nation. And I suppose like the surrounding lands that they claim, although entirely uninhabited, all of this, very scarcely populated. So that's cool. It's not really, but, well. So yeah, the red team is very, very large now. They continue along this coast. That seems to be what they've been doing this entire time. Which is very basic at the start. But it should get more interesting, so that's good. And yet they're even making it pretty close to Somalia. They're probably in Yemen now, so that's cool. Is that a good thing? But interests have re-arisen up here in the north, as most of the tribes are now part of the red team. Either optionally they just died out, or they've been captured. So people are kind of leaving these southern areas, and they're letting the theocratic people take control over this, because they've kind of got their own aristocracy. Don't know if I mentioned, but yeah, all these countries are aristocracies because, you know, there's like different tribal people who are in different areas in the countries, and that's just how it is. They will get a capital city eventually, but they haven't really invented that yet. So yeah, all the population is returning to the northern areas, so it's mostly like this. And they have the theocrats down here. And that might cause some issues in the future, but who knows. See, I'm not entirely sure how the Euphrates River flows, but it's kind of like the bit in Iraq. You know, Baghdad is just made on the Euphrates River, or Euphrates and Tigris, because that's actually arable land, which is incredible in Arabia. So they're going to spread up here now, as they find it's much more habitable than the southern areas. Their borders look revolting. Great. And they're going even more distant from the old blue team, which is, yeah, as I said, probably going to cause issues in the future. They capture this lake and continue up. Oh no, that's bad. The Euphrates River, making their way towards the Mediterranean Sea, which they don't actually know exists. Yeah, just for a time scale, this is not happening across like 10 years or something. This is a very long project they're doing. Like probably hundreds of years. I mean, I suppose it's like Stone Age times, so you know, we do have to give them some time to develop. However, just as the red team makes plans to send out another scouting group to capture more land up in Mesopotamia, there's a revolution, or a revolt, I suppose. They're different things. I'm not entirely sure how. Well, I am. But, oh well. In the southern regions, as the theocratic religious people want their independence from the red team. They practically govern these areas, and they want it. So they capture lots of the southern areas, like the villages and stuff down here, and turn it into their own country. The red team's army is all up here in the Euphrates Mesopotamia area, so it takes them a while to progress down here, and they come across many obstacles from this theocratic team. However, they do eventually arrive, and they start beating them back, capturing more land and stuff. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you capture land. And they push them nearly entirely out of the United Arab Emirates area. However, these people have been reproducing really quickly, so they have this massive army, and they begin to push the red team back further and further. Actually, I should probably get this and this. So I'm going to use this blue to show lands that the defenders have captured, and red to show lands the attackers have captured. Actually, other way around. Not on the colours, I mean. Anyway, yeah, stupid cough. They managed to push further and further into the northern coast of the red team, capture more islands, and slowly make their way towards Qatar. This is kind of threatening to the red team, as I suppose it's probably like some major settlement down here, maybe in Qatar. And the red team's not eager to lose that. They're not making any more advancements into the blue team now. And finally, they give up. They haven't really signed peace because the idea of a peace treaty hasn't been invented yet. But, you know what I mean. They stopped fighting. So the blue team, well, this isn't blue, it's going orange. This team is allowed to take these territories, so they own most of the United Arab Emirates now. However, these recently captured ones over here are maintained as red territories. So, hooray for the red team, I suppose. But yeah, now we have all of 2 nations in the world. That's crazy. So, as I said, orange. So yeah, they do look like they've captured all of territory. And New Zealand and Australia, they're not making that for ages. The red team continues their new spearhead up towards the Mediterranean Sea and across the Euphrates River until finally they connect with it and the Turkish Anatolian region. So that's good. Likewise, the Orange team is going to be making some advancements down in the south. Yeah, both these nations are now relatively big. Oh my god, I can't talk. And it is possible these guys cite Socotra and Somalia. That might happen in a future episode. I don't know. If I make it round and capture most of coastal Yemen, so that's cool. No, that bit, this bit. Okay, yeah. Actually, you can't see that, but oh well. And I think I'll just do some quick expanding here. The blue team. Oh my god! Why are you going the flaming bow? Orange team. There we go. These guys. They're not really going to do that much expanding because they need to concentrate on religious stuff. But the red team, yeah, the red team, they're very militarian and they're very much in favour of expanding. They send out more scouts. Why is there an F in this lake? Send out more scouts to search this Levant area, and also they discover the Caspian Sea, which leads them to take a new exploration route all the way up to the Caspian. So that's pretty exciting. But you know, they force a load of people to travel to these new inhabited areas in the Caspian and the Mediterranean, and not everyone's in favour of that. Like, for the past few hundred, possibly thousands of years, their family's been living out here in Kuwait, and now they're suddenly making the move all the way to the Caspian Sea. This means there's lots of instability, and there's some aristocrats who've been forced out of their land because of more powerful oppositions. So, as they go to the Caspian to reclaim more land, they're wondering whether they should make their own new nation. So, yeah, I suppose we might see that. And it's true, we do see this. As the really disgusting looking red team suffers like a huge territorial loss. Over here, by the Caspian Sea, this new territory is going to be breaking away. This country doesn't really like the red team at all. The orange team down in the southern region are like, meh, we still like the red team a bit. It's just they didn't. Oh yeah, you can have this island. They kind of agree with the red team's policies. They agree with their religion and stuff. But the green team are kind of moving away from this. They're becoming more like an aggressive following thing. I don't know, you can make up some stuff about that. The red team, however, is really economically crippled. They didn't have many fears about like anything that could go wrong without having funds and stuff. But now they're having a rebellion, which they really didn't expect. They come to see the consequences of it. The green team makes a pretty huge advancement into red team territory, and they're relatively close to actually taking down into Mesopotamia. They push quite far before conscripts, yeah, that's the word, manage to make their way towards the green team's front and push them back. This bit's captured, and they even finally advance into the green team. However, it's not going to be easy still. They don't really know this land very well. I mean, nobody does, but these guys know it best. So there's lots of guerrilla fighting, but finally the red team makes a small advancement and begin pushing the green team back. However, it looks impossible the red team's actually going to take down the green team and win this war. So once again, they have to let this country have their independence. Just a bit sad for the red team. But yeah, it means we have 3 countries in the world. Just 194 more to go. However you look at the number of countries, I suppose. Anyway, just get green team now. Red team, let's put down some capitals as well. Because I can. I'm gonna remove this lake. I'm sorry if anyone really liked this lake thing. I'm not gonna remove it because brush size is too small. However, here you go. First capital city. It's kind of like Baghdad. You know, it just makes sense, I suppose. They could put it by the Mediterranean coast, but At the moment, they're the only country with Mediterranean access. So there's really not much point. The green team are going to put theirs there because they revere the Caspian Sea. And the orange team are going to put theirs down here in the south, kind of where they started off. Like, they have holy cities along this coast. You know, like the city, town, state sort of things. So that's where they're based. Anyway, we're going to have a quick road of expansion. And the red team makes their way down to the Sinai Peninsula. This isn't quick. This is like hundreds of years, I suppose. But the green team makes their way up to, probably don't. Make their way across into Iran and into Turkmenistan. And also climb up into Azerbaijan. So, yeah. It is hard to travel through these areas, however, because the Caucasus Mountains exist. And that's not fun. The red team also expands a bit into the north, making their way into Anatolia, going across the southern coast there. But yeah, they're extremely expansionist, if you hadn't realised. Well, and they're very intrigued in the Turkish region, as this is like the most arable land they've found so far. And it's not great. I mean, it's not bad, but it's pretty good. So that's fun for the red team. They will be expanding into this area now, making their way up here. The red team's not really worried about any of this area. They're like, meh, it's just kind of there. And the green team, that's the kind of bit that they like. They claim all of the Caspian Sea, which is a lot. You know, it's a pretty big thing. Although they explored all of, like, this much. They haven't really explored this bit. They're not great at doing this. Anyway, so they're going to send some exploration parties off into the Caucasian Mountains in hope of, you know, like, settling it and understanding what's going on there, because it's really, really hard to traverse. However, it's really, really hard to traverse, as I just said. So, these parties of people end up getting lost as they travel up here in the mountains, and they can't find their way back. So after like a few months of stumbling around and eating goats, whatever else they can find in these mountains, they decide to just settle, because it's gonna be a very long time before they make their way back to the green team, and they'll probably all be dead by the time they get there. So that's sad. Very sad. Just in the red team's borders, because I got distracted. Great. Anyway, so these guys, they are actually going to form their country on the coast of the Caspian Sea. Of course, they were formed by people from the green team, so they probably also revere the Caspian Sea. So there's their tiny nation. I should give them a capital. Nah, probably haven't really thought about that as of the moment. Now, here in Anatolia, lots of people are moving here. You know, they've got an interesting population density. It's kind of like... That's a big brush. This. All those areas are the bits where people are living. That's most of the areas. Oh well. There's like a few people down here. There's probably some guys on the border of the orange team. But like... It's not the best spot you could live in. So there's people moving towards, I suppose like toward Europe. Depends if you count Turkey as in Europe. I think maybe it is. It feels like quite a European nation. In a way. I don't know. That's a debate for another day. And they're going to settle here. The red team, I'm not entirely sure whether they're pro these guys settling. They're not. But they don't really know they're there, because nobody likes living on the fringes of this bit. They're probably like wolves, lions, probably not lions, but some aggressive animal that would eat them, so they're not eager to do that. This dark blue team is going to expand along the northern coast here, and finally make their way into Greece. This is modern day Turkey, but never mind. It doesn't matter, we're going to call it Greece now. All the Greek people watching this, be happy. You now own Thrace again. You know, I think I'm going to give you North Macedonia now. So, oh well. They are quite a poor nation because they don't trade with anyone because they're scared the red team's going to absolutely obliterate them if they discover they exist. So that's fun. I mean, trade doesn't exist, really. That's a good point. Trade probably doesn't exist. But they managed to expand a little bit. It's just really slow. Actually, let's just... Like, of course you want to go by the coast regardless of whether or not trading exists, because food, better land, more animals, generally. So, yeah, they are going to stick to the coast for these bits. I suppose probably the biggest area of people's around like Istanbul, Constantinople area, whatever you want to call it. What was the thing that was called before that? Byzantium. Yeah, we're going to call it Byzantium now. Just to annoy everyone. Anyway, I need help. Hey. The orange team, I think, might finally do some expansion. Nah, I'm only joking. It's the brown team up here in whatever the hell this bit is. Probably Russia, I'd say. I think this is Russia. Chechnya. Something like that. It's not very much. They don't know the green team's down there. They think they can be like miles away. The other side of the world. Which is flat, of course. And not very big. Because they don't know much about it. However, the red team does end up discovering this blue nation over here. And they're not exactly pleased. They're going to let them exist because they pay tribute to the red team. Aristocrats, I suppose. But they're not happy. They don't like this. And they probably will get their revenge sometime in the future. The green team will discover the brown team as well. There's just a lot of people out here undiscovered. As they go up the coast, they're kind of annoyed that these people abandoned them. They're not really like, oh my god, you survived. I'm so pleased to see you. They're like, dude, you abandoned us. You didn't let us expand up into this region. You failed your country. Even though it's been like 6 generations or something, probably. Maybe less, but oh well. This, I don't know what I want to call it, Thracian country is going to get the Romanian coast and Bulgaria, but oh well. Towards Crimea and Ukraine, so that's pretty cool. They do look hideous though, because as the red team has kind of realized, yeah, you take all that, they exist in Turkey. They're not going to expand into Turkey anymore because they're absolutely terrified the red team's going to be like, hey, that was our land, and I suppose now we're going to have to absolutely beat you to bits because we claimed it. So, haha, I'm very scared. Another nation. Do I want to do that? No. Instead, we're going to have this nation expanding again. This is going around in a circle, I suppose. Just over and over and over again. A circle of endless expanding countries. Oh well. Yeah. However, I think possibly to end it off for today, we have the green team absolutely aggressing on this country. They're not going to go to war because the green team's not exactly rich. They probably eat like fish for every single meal and get attacked by whatever's out here in this region. So they're not going to attack them. They're just going to walk in to like, fine, I'll give them a capital. The capital, and go like, you know, I was thinking maybe you'd like to give up that Caspian coast of yours. Just wondering whether you'd like to give that up, seeing as we claim all of the Caspian. And pretty quickly, the aristocrats in this nation give up their Caspian coast. I just suppose these guys are really persuasive or something. So, yeah, that means getting food is much harder for this brown team. And they kind of become like dominated by the green team. They're going to put their capital, or their new capital I suppose, out 5. There we go. Let's say, I don't entirely know where the mountains are. Probably not this high. So put their capital right there. These guys' capital can be around Thrace. Over there. And I think we call that I'm gonna add some minor cities now. I don't know how to do layers properly. I don't know how to do that. Oh no. I like doing accents too much. It's not good. There's not going to be many major cities at this point, so the red team's going to have one by the Mediterranean and one down in Kuwait, but there probably won't be too many at this point in time. The green team, I doubt they're really going to get any. There's like all the population's just living along here, so I suppose they could put one down here. Maybe, you know what, yeah, you get one over there. And the orange team, I don't know. These are like holy cities, so they're probably not as rich as like the Kuwait one or the Mediterranean one. But it's a mass gathering of population. And I suppose like aristocrats and businesses and stuff, but businesses probably don't exist. But there you go. So this is our world at this point in time. Great. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.